Yo, what is good? What is good? What is going on? Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. What's good, guys? How y'all doing? Your boy Persona of Gaming with Persona, host of When Persona Speaks. And yeah, man, we are back with another video. And yo, man, I'm excited. I'm excited, guys, because we got some good, really good stuff to talk about today. A lot of good news has been brought out. but yo, before we get into anything, hold on. What am I doing? First off, round of applause to everybody that's here right now. The early birds, the day ones. Y'all know y'all appreciate it out here. So shout out to y'all. Yo, Sick Humor TV, what's good, bro? Buck Rogers, Mr. Stealth himself. Oh my God, it's messed up. Mr. Stealth himself, the Sarge 0079, Logical Nonsense, Wrath the Emperor, El Matador in the building. Appreciate all you guys for coming through, man. I hope you guys enjoy the show today, man. We got quite a few things to talk about, quite a few things to get through. A lot of things have been coming at us this past week and a half. It's been a lot of crazy things that's happened, and I've been trying to wrap my mind around everything. Just cause, let me just say this, man. Let me say this, cause I put a comment on six post on Twitter. I think it was Friday, Saturday, one of those days, I forget, where I said, yo, I'm excited. You know, now that I see and know what I know about, you know, things that have been happening so far this year in terms of gaming in the gaming industry, I said I'm actually kind of not 100% happy, but I'm kind of happy that PlayStation is kind of taking their time, kind of, you know, moving at a slower pace. And I'm gonna break that down because a lot of people came at me. Oh, Persona, yo, I'm gonna show the tweet too. I'm gonna show the tweet. Later in the show, we're gonna get into that because I really wanna talk about that, and it's gonna coincide with the Inside Xbox talk, because this is why, you know, I feel the way I feel. It's because of the Inside Xbox show. But we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna break that down for sure. But again, appreciate everybody here, man. Yo, Jay Barry in the building. Round of applause to Jay Barry, man. One of the day ones, man. Really appreciate all you guys that are here, the lurkers. I hope you guys, you know, I really appreciate y'all as well. Sit back, grab your drinks, kick your feet up. It's about to be a dope show. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, Summer Game Fest. Jeff Keighley, shout out to boy Jeff Keighley. He he had his first he did his first Summer Game Fest interview or announcement for today. And today's announcement was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. It says remaster, but this don't look like no remasters to me. These look like full-on remakes. So, you know, I don't know. It looked like remakes to me. But we're gonna look at the trailer. I'm gonna give my thoughts. I'm really excited for this, and the reason why I'm excited for this is because I love Tony Hawk. I played Tony Hawk on the Game Boy Color. I played Tony Hawk on the PlayStation. One of my favorite Tony Hawk. Funny enough, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. I'm not saying those are bad games, but my personal favorite Tony Hawk skating game to this day has always been Tony Hawk American Wasteland for the PlayStation 2. That game was just, I put so much time and hours and effort into that game. It was really fun also, like using the cheats and stuff like that so that you can't fall. It was just such a fun and great game. I really do hope that, you know, if they are going to start bringing some of the old school Tony Hawks back, I really do hope that they do bring American Wasteland, because again, that is definitely my favorite so far. But Pro Skater 1 and 2, I'm just as excited, just as happy. Pro Skater 1 plus 2. Let's look at I'm trying to find a good trailer. Yeah, we can look at this. So let's switch it up. Should we go full screen? Yeah, let's go full screen. There we go. So, like I said, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster. Like I said, they're calling it a remaster. I don't know if I can necessarily call this a remaster. Like I said, you know, when you look at Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, a remaster. No, this is like a straight up remake, and it's made by Vicarious Visions is doing it. And as you know, Vicarious Visions did Crash Bandicoot. They did that whole remake trilogy, and I think they did. I think they did Nitro, the Crash Bandicoot racing game. I think they did that as well, and I want to say they did. I think they did Spyro the Dragon remake as well, if I'm not mistaken. Someone in the chat correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was that. But yo, let's watch the trailer, the announcement trailer. We're not gonna watch the whole Summer Game Fest interview or whatever, because you guys, we're gonna just watch the trailer and we'll just talk about it. Yo, you see it? Wait a second. Okay, now let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. Let's back it up a bit here. Let's back it up here. Hold on. Guys. Hold on. Do you guys see this? Yo, as a kid, this was amazing. You feel me? Don't get it twisted. But this is why I'm saying that this can't be. I'm saying like this can't be a remaster. They're gonna have to change this to a remake. Cause straight up, this is straight up a remake. Cause this game is night and day different, and it looks phenomenal. But let's continue with the trailer. But like, look at that. Look at that. Hell no, that ain't no remaster. Remaster. You get rid of the jaggies and stuff. That's it. You clean up the faces a little bit. No. This ain't no remaster. This a full on remake, in my opinion. I know we got the truck. We're going downtown, gonna beat up the ranks. You're to the drive, I'll bring the beer. It's a late ship, no one here. I hope we get to play with Bam Margarita. So the game drops September 4th, 2020. They also have a collector's edition for it, which of course, your boy snatched that up. We snatched that up. But yo, the trailer definitely is fire, because I do like how they show like the differences, like, and like I said, it looks stunning. It looks phenomenal. It's not really a whole lot you could say about skateboarding games. Like, it's either going to be good or it's bad. With Tony Hawk, I remember in the interview they said that they also brought, because in Tony Hawk 1 and 2, you couldn't do, I forgot the name of the move. But it's one of the moves that you could do to also extend your combos that you couldn't do in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. And I'm sure somebody in the chat will let me know what it was. I forgot the name of it. But that they brought like some elements from the newer games or the later entries. They brought those in this game, which I do like. So even though it's gonna have that Tony Hawk Pro Skater old school feel, but it's also gonna still feel fresh and new, because they're also still bringing in some of the newer things that's in the game, in the later games. So I'm really excited about that. What is it? Nomad? Oh, manuals. Thank you, Buck. Manuals. Thank you. They brought manuals, so that extension, it's definitely gonna be real. I want to show you guys the collector's edition. GameStop.com. Uh, Hold on. Tony Hawk Pro Skater Collector's UD Edition. This was real. This was like really dope. This is why I definitely had to like snatch this up for sure. Can I see like a bigger picture of it? They're not gonna like show me a bigger picture. Alright, hold up. I wanna show you guys like an actual picture. I don't wanna like zoom in. What'd you guys think of the trailer though? I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. Alright, comic book, got it. I know I shared it on my Twitter. I'm trying to find like the picture of it so I can show you guys. Here we go. This is perfect. There we go. All right. So, Tony Hawk Pro Skater Collector's Edition. It's $100, which you're getting a whole fucking board for $100. That's crazy. I don't think this is a board you'll be able to. This isn't a board you could skate on. But it's like a replica board. So like as soon as I seen this, I was like, yo, I gotta pick this up. I have to. So, the collection edition is $100. It's up on GameStop.com. I don't know if it's up on Amazon. When I checked Amazon earlier, it was saying currently unavailable. So that's why I ended up going with GameStop to pre-order. But obviously it comes with the game. It comes with digital deluxe content. So you get Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. You get the digital deluxe edition content. And you get a limited edition full-size birdhouse skateboard deck. That's dope. And based off the picture, it's signed by Tony Hawk. That's badass, in my opinion. That's pretty. Like you can't pass that up. You feel me? In my opinion, a big fan of these games back in the day, so I'm really, really, really excited for this. So yeah, I had to snatch this up. This was $100 well spent, in my opinion. Of course, everybody won't feel how I feel about it. But the game, I'm really excited because the game's gonna be fire. That's all I can say. The game is gonna be fire. It's Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk was that Pro Skater 5 wasn't all that great. It got like really bad reviews and wasn't really received well by the community. And I know a lot of people, including myself, have been wanting some of those old games remastered. Like I said, American Wasteland, Pro Skater 1 and 2 is definitely a good pick, a good place to start. So if they go down the line, Pro Skater 3, Pro Skater 4, American Wasteland, like I said, if we can get an American Wasteland remaster, yeah, I'm in heaven. Like, I'm good. Like, I'll play that game permanently. You feel me? For the rest of my life, I'll play that game. But yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remake comes out September 4th, 2020. Day one, it's coming out on PS4, Xbox, Epic Game Store. I didn't see no Steam, so I don't know, no Steam. And I think it's safe to assume that this is probably one of the games we'll be able to play on PS5 as well, through backwards compatibility or whatever PlayStation is doing. So that within itself, I'm like, cool. So yeah, it's a day one. And so the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is this PlayStation animation. Let me tell you guys something, man. Whenever PlayStation does anything, right, as of late, I get a little giddy. I get a little giddy because, like, PlayStation's been so quiet right now, and their silence is it's got me like, oh, I'm waiting. I'm patiently waiting though. Like, after Inside Xbox, I'm gonna I'm gonna be patient, right? And we're gonna get into that. I want to show you guys the new PlayStation animation though. Um, because this right here, I like it. Definitely got some. I definitely got some Marvel vibes. I know a lot of people were comparing it to the Marvel stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I can see how this is. I seen some people comparing it to Xbox, but everyone's gonna try to compare it to Xbox, and I'm like, I don't. I mean, listen, I was gonna put this on Twitter, but it's crazy how, like, I seen people on Twitter today, arguing about the new PlayStation animation and how similar it looks to the Xbox One, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yo, I had to come to a realization, like, yo, these are the same people that were complaining about Spider-Man puddles and jump buttons and just all this insignificant shit. And I'm just like, listen, it's an animation. It's a animation, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's gonna play at the beginning, okay? Like, deal with it. Move on. So yeah, let's look at this real quick. So that was it. I liked it. I think it looks great. Every time I look at like something PlayStation, like things like this, I be smiling because, like, you look at all the games and you relive the moments that you've had with these games, especially with the God of War, Spider-Man's, and Horizon Zero Dawns and stuff like that. Like, when I look at those games and I just relive those moments in my head, I get really excited about. I be smiling. I'm like, oh, PlayStation the best, man. So that's just me. The animation was cool though. I did like the animation. I know a lot of people were saying that the animation they copied Xbox, but shout out to my boy. First of all, shout out to my boy Sick. What is this from? Shit, this is from 20. This is from what, 2015? PlayStation Originals. Let me see this. Sick posted up something on Twitter. How they did this 5 years ago. PlayStation Originals. Ah. Okay. Hold up. Okay. So people were trying to say, oh, it's this is from, oh yeah, they're stealing this from Xbox. They copying Xbox. PlayStation is an original. Blah blah blah. So this is from 2015. This is the PlayStation Originals animation or whatever. This is from 2015, guys. Who's copying whom? Yo, who is copying whom is the questions I love to ask. This is why it pays to to do your research. That's what I'll say. It pays to do research. At least I think so. Shout out to everybody here. Fleshy, Rome Rush, Garuda, Vedger. Appreciate all you guys here, man. Appreciate you guys coming through. That's that PS5 version. PS is like a ninja in the room. When Xbox is blazing off their guns, Sony throw a little rock on Xbox face from the dark corner with that animation. Yo, so so people like to say, they copy, blah blah blah, whatever. I just feel like, if you look back in time, you see that PlayStation was doing this long ago. So who's really copying who, right? And isn't imitation a form of flattery? Isn't that what people say? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. So let's get into the Inside Xbox stuff, because I wanted to wait to talk about this because I didn't want to jump the gun too quickly. And the reason why I didn't want to jump the gun too quickly is because, I wanted to see how the community was going to react, right? Because when it comes to Microsoft and how they've been dealing with things the past few years, their handling of Xbox has definitely been lackluster. I think anybody with eyes, anybody with a brain can see that, right? Um, During the Game Awards last holiday, and coming into this year, uh, Xbox has been pulling out all the stops to entice players. They showed off the console on the Game Awards stage. They've been very vocal about what to expect with the Xbox. They've been very vocal about um, you know that they've got their studios hard at work. Only they've just been very forthcoming with information, right? So I've said this a couple podcasts ago, but I'll refresh your memory when I said when you let the loser or let the person in last place control the narrative, then the community is going to look at the winner and think they're doing something wrong. You feel me? Um, so I was one of those. I think I still am. I'm not going back on my stance, but I'm just adjusting how I feel about the situation right now about PlayStation. But the problem was that PlayStation's been very quiet. PlayStation hasn't really been forthcoming with any information. There was the issue of PlayStation isn't debunking any of these rumors. Then we find out that Horizon Zero Dawn is going to PC, and then Naughty Dog with their whole mess with the crunch and the leaks, and it's just been a big mess these first 5 months for PlayStation. And again, a month or two ago, I was definitely one of the people where I was like, PlayStation, they need to put out more information. They need to be more vocal. They need to step it up because Xbox is doing their thing. And granted, Xbox needs to be more vocal than PlayStation because, at least right now, because they're in last place. They're trying to entice people to get on their platform. So of course they're gonna go the extra mile to entice people. So that portion of it I understood, and that portion of it is why I was like, I gave PlayStation the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time I know how PlayStation can get, where they can get big headed, where they can think they're the shit and their shit don't stink, so we'll move when we want to. I was feeling that way, right? After this Inside Xbox, I'm conflicted because, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I went to this Inside Xbox curious. I was very curious, and I was very open. I was definitely open. I always approach everything with an open mind, but I just want to put emphasis on that this go around, that I was definitely very open minded. I'm looking at Xbox to say, yo, Xbox, they're starting off this Summer Game Fest stuff. They got these third-party deals, this third-party lineup. It seems like they're doing everything right. It seems like they're trying to go into the right direction this go round. It seemed like it, and when I say that, I'm only speaking in terms of how they've been maneuvering with the next gen information, right? So I'm like, okay, let me see what Xbox is about to bring to the table when it comes to next gen, when it comes to next gen games, next gen exclusive deals, showing off the power of the console. 12, what have they been talking about all this time? 12 teraflops, 12 teraflops, 12 teraflops, monster console, secrets, all this different stuff, So I'm like, I'm looking at it like, shit, man, like, is Microsoft about to blow my socks off? Whoa, didn't see that one coming. So, then, and my Inside Xbox starts happening, and you're just like, they show one game, and you're like, they show another game, and you're like, they show a third game, and you're like, there's nothing there. There's only 2 games that made me go. It was Scarlet Nexus, and in the first game they showed, what's the name of the first game that they showed at what is it? It's some game made by one developer. I forgot the name of the game. Somebody in the chat will tell me, but I was like, yo, that game, I thought that, bullshit. As soon as that game started, I'm like, yo, this is Titanfall 3. This is Titanfall 3. This is Titanfall 3. This ain't Titanfall 3. I'm like, okay, it still looks good. It still has my attention. Then come to find out, it's a game that's already out on PC. Already out on PC. Okay, fine. It's already out on PC. Cool, whatever. So you're like, all right, you give them the benefit of the doubt. That's just one game, right? So we get further into the conference. Further, my issue is, people keep saying keep your expectations in check, right? And I don't know, like, as a gamer, for me, and I'm only speaking for myself, I can't speak for nobody else, so I'm only speaking for myself. But as a gamer, like, my expectations for gaming is always high. And this is why I look at Xbox and, like, what they've done so far, and I'm like, yo, you fucking up. Because my expectation, I don't care if it's one developer, I don't care if it's an indie studio, I don't care if it's a AAA studio that's got $100 million budget. My expectation, you can't tell me to keep my expectations low or in check for $1 billion company that's trying to get my dollars. That makes no sense to me. How are you going to tell me to keep my expectations in check for $1 billion company? No, my expectations are high. My expectations for these developers, for these games, for next gen, my expectations are high, through the roof. Because that's what I expect. I'm expecting you to wow me. I'm expecting you to make me go, but instead, throughout the whole conference, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because it's a comedy, right? So they were hyping up the show. They were saying gameplay. And that's why I was so excited, because I want to see gameplay on these next gen consoles. You feel me? Like, oh, it's gameplay, it's third party, blah blah blah, whatever. They were saying gameplay. They had everybody's expectations at a certain level. Microsoft did this. You feel me? To get people in. Because I'm not going to lie, I don't really look forward to watching Inside Xbox shows. You feel me? That's never, like, I don't look forward to that. You feel me? Because I always know it's going to be a snooze fest. But for this one, I'm like, shit, we about to see next gen third party gameplay. I'm with it. What did we see? We seen trailers. CGI trailers. We seen trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer. And I'm like, where's the gameplay? Where is the gameplay? And then my next question was, where is next gen? Where is next gen? Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to be honest. Outside of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which we're going to get into that. That's its own separate topic, guys. We're going to get into that. But outside of Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Scarlet Nexus, and we know Scarlet Nexus is definitely being made for this gen. Like majority, I want to say all the games that they were showing were were being made for this gen. I don't feel like the next gen hardware is what these games were being developed for, like in mind for. I just think it was a whole smart delivery. It felt like a smart delivery infomercial. Like, come on now, make sure you buy yourself a Xbox Series X because it's got smart delivery. You'll be able to play your own game. That's what it felt like to me. Because, like, they kept putting a lot of emphasis on smart delivery and, you can be able, you'll be able to play your old games on here because of smart delivery and it's optimized for the Series X and all this other stuff. And I'm looking at a lot of these games and I'm like, this doesn't look next gen to me. This does not look next gen. This is not next generation. Even Scarlet Nexus, a game that, again, this a day one for me. You feel me? I'm going to buy the game on the PS4 because I'm not buying it on the Xbox. Come on. Of course, I'm buying that game on the PS4. It's a day one. I'm excited for the game, but when you have a conference that's focusing on the power of next generation, I didn't see that. I didn't see that with none of those games. We didn't see gameplay with anything. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, maybe PlayStation, like after the show, it was definitely funny. It was comedy. It's going to be comedy. But after the show, I was sitting there and I'm like I really was thinking and I'm like, maybe PlayStation definitely should take their time here. Maybe we're the ones that need to realize that PlayStation is taking their time for a reason. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I still feel that PlayStation needs to be more, a tad more forthcoming and a tad more direct with their information. But at the same time, I'm looking at it like when PlayStation arrives, it's boot on the neck. It's boot on the neck time. You feel me? But in the reason, and let me explain to you guys. So the reason why I feel like I'm actually happy that PlayStation is kind of, I don't want to say pulling back, but I'm kind of happy that they're really like slow rolling it and really taking their time is because, this Inside Xbox definitely felt rushed, right? And this definitely didn't feel like the show was well thought out, right? Especially if you're trying to show off next gen and really kind of sell your fan base and sell consumers on next generation. This show definitely didn't help that. And I wouldn't want PlayStation to come out on stage and not show me why I need to own a PlayStation. Now, granted, the games are there with PlayStation. We know PlayStation has the games. We know PlayStation, they've got the exclusives. I'm sure they've got some crazy marketing deals, up their sleeve and things like that. But I'm actually happy. This is going to sound really bad, guys. But I'm actually happy, or I'm glad. How do I say this? I'm going to say it. I'm glad that Xbox actually is going first in this situation. Because the outrage, the outrage from the community right after the show was over, overselling the console, not meeting expectations with the gameplay. I'm happy that PlayStation, and I'm positive PlayStation sees this. I'm positive PlayStation watched the show. I'm positive that they've seen the outrage. I'm positive that they've seen the outrage with Assassin's Creed Valhalla and the whole 30 frames per second thing, and then Greenberg saying, the standard is 60. I'm positive they see all of that. And I'm glad that they actually aren't going first in this situation, because they can look at Xbox's mishaps as a learning experience. and Xbox as well. You know, they can also look at this as a learning experience. But in terms of PlayStation, they haven't shown us anything. They've set expectations because of the whole Mark Cerny thing and how innovative the console will be, right? And rightfully so. Like, you know, Mark Cerny's an engineer. Like, he created this thing from the ground up. I believe when he says this is what it's going to do, or this is what we're targeting, this is what the PlayStation is going to do. And if anybody watched the Mark Cerny presentation, you know that what PlayStation has cooking in terms of their console is nothing short of phenomenal, nothing short of innovation, right? But I want PlayStation to look at this inside Xbox. I want them to look at the missteps, the misinformation, the overselling of the console. I want them to look at these mistakes that Xbox is making and listen, guys. Xbox isn't out for the count, but these types of mistakes, these are first impression mistakes that you're making. And what's the saying? First impressions mean everything. When you meet a new person, whatever, first impressions mean, say you going out on you meet a girl on the train, or you meet her, on Tinder, wherever you guys meet people, whatever. You meet a girl, you guys set up time to go out on a date, right? So you guys sit down at the date, right? And you accidentally fart. Or, you smell bad, whatever, I don't know. That type of thing can kill your game right there. You're not getting nowhere with this chick. Like, she gonna get up and leave, unless she a really down to earth chick. And I'm talking like down to the earth, like she with the earthworms down to earth, where she kind of laughs it off and she's giggling and shit. If she does that, that's definitely a keeper. Like, put a ring on it right there on the spot. But most chicks, they're gonna like kind of be disgusted, or they kind of especially if you fart. Like, if she a chick that laughs at you farting and y'all both share a laugh, you might want to marry her, bro. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like, you marry a chick like that. But first impressions mean everything. So when it comes to how Xbox has handled this inside Xbox, it's a travesty. It's a disaster. It's a PR nightmare. And these are the types of things that can define a generation. These are the types of things that could define a generation. You're coming out the gate already disappointing. You can't have that. You cannot have that at all. Yo, Chris Righteous, what's good? A Gaming 50 in the building. What's good? What's good? Dash Misi, what's good, man? Guapzilla in the building. Mr. Modern, what is good? What is good? Rome Rush, what's good? Cypher Cyborg, what's good? What's good? How y'all doing? Dragon Sword 15, what is good? What is good? I appreciate all you guys, man. Appreciate all you guys. Round of applause. Round of applause for everybody here, man. For the people that's just lurking and they just listen, appreciate you guys as well, man. You guys are definitely amazing. So yeah, like, those are the types of things where I'm like, yo, I'm glad that PlayStation is taking their time. You feel me? I'm really happy that they're taking their time. Like, and I want news just as much as anybody. Guys, trust me. I want PlayStation news so bad. Like, I really do. But at the same time, like, on one side of my brain, I want a whole bunch of news. On the other side of my brain, after looking at this inside Xbox fuck up, I want them to take their time. I want them to learn. I want them to really, I want them to come out the gate with the boot on their necks. You feel me? I want them to drop the hammer. Like, yo, I really want PlayStation to just destroy and dominate. I really do. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I do. But I want them to be as calculated as possible. Like, it's gotta be calculated. So look at this inside Xbox crap and really just like, yo, just like straight up. Inside Xbox was not good. And then not to mention Aaron Greenberg talking about how 60 frames per second is not so peep it. So it's, you most people, especially me, I was there to see the Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay. That was really like my main reason for being there. But the goodies that we got, with, again, Scarlet Nexus, the first game that was shown. I think it was one more game that I was feeling. Was there another game I was digging at the Inside Xbox? I'm trying to think. Maybe like maybe one more. I can't remember the name of it right now. But, there was a couple goodies there. But I was mostly there for the Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay, right? And again, this is why this whole expectation thing, I need these people, I need these developers, and I need these companies. If you need to start acting within the expectation level that you expect to receive. Because you cannot you can't show me an Assassin's Creed trailer, right, and just say, stay tuned, Inside Xbox, we're going to show you gameplay, we're going to show you much more. So I'm like, yo, this is hype, I'm excited, I can't wait. I love Assassin's Creed. So I'm like, yo, I cannot wait. Then we get to Assassin's Creed, and they show you nothing. They showed me nothing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why am I here? Why are we here? Like, why were we here today? Like, why were we here? This could have been added on to the first trailer that you shown, and then you could have said, oh, stay tuned. We're going to have more to show you during the Summer Game Fest with Jeff Keighley. I would have been more happy with that. But if they would have said that, I don't think half as many people would have came to this Inside Xbox. And it shows with the dislikes how unhappy folks were with the Inside Xbox. Folks was unhappy. You sit through 20 minutes with Aaron Greenberg behind his Series X fridge and all this giddy bullshit. And I'm just like, yo, like, why are we here? Like, seriously, why are we here? So we see that little snippet of Assassin's Creed, and so you think, all right, that's it. PlayStation, you think, okay, you thinking to yourself, Inside Xbox messed up here, but they can bounce back. Then the news comes out that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be 30 frames per second on the Xbox Series X. Listen, guys. Listen. I don't know what to think anymore. Now, let me tell you something about next gen, right? Because I seen a lot of people today saying, oh, well, it's up to the developer to choose what frame rate to make the games and all this other stuff. Listen, guys. Listen. Let me run a scenario by y'all, and y'all give me y'all thoughts, okay? You go to a dealership, right? You go to the dealership to buy a brand new car, right? Most of the time when you're buying a brand new car, the car may have 2,000-3,000 miles on it, or whatever. That's that's a brand new car. But if you go into a dealership to buy a brand new car, and the car got 80,000 miles on it, and they want top dollar for the car, is that a deal? I'm asking a serious question. Could you imagine sitting down with a dealership guy and be like, hey, man, so we're going to sell you this brand new car. It's $35,000, and it's got 80,000 miles on it. Huh? Wait a second. What did you say? Oh, yeah, it's got 80,000 miles, and it's $35,000. Is that, will you be paying with cash or credit? Wait a second, sir. Wait a second. Wait a fucking second. I want to buy a brand new car. You ain't got nothing with no lower mileage? Oh, no, that's the best we got. Well, I'm not giving you my money. What the fuck? I'm not giving you no money for that. That's not a deal. Oh, but it's a car that gets you from point A to point B. That doesn't matter. None of that matters, okay? Yo, we're going into next gen, right? There's got to be some next gen quality there. Straight up. There's got to be some next gen quality there. You know? I don't feel everything needs to be 4K. If you make it 1440p, 60 frames, I'm good with that. But I don't think that we should be going into next gen accepting this. I definitely think we need to be vocal. Very vocal. Because right now, looking at the Xbox side, this next gen looking seriously spooky. Seriously spooky. Again, we ain't seen what PlayStation doing yet. So I'm only judging by what Xbox has been doing so far. And right now, things look really spooky. You feel me? It's just not something that I think we can accept right now. You know, this generation, you know, whatever, 30 frames, it can't be done no higher than that. You have no choice but to accept that. But I feel like going into next gen, you know, people, you know, 12 teraflops this, 12 teraflops that. You know, they're hyping up these power of these consoles and things like that. It's hard to look at next gen and be like, oh, well, you know, 30 frames per second is going to be the standard next gen as well. I mean, really ask yourselves, guys. Like, I want y'all to seriously ask yourselves, is that seriously acceptable? I'm seriously asking that question. I'm gonna bring y'all in the chat, man. Matter of fact, let's have a conversation, guys. Let's have a conversation. Invite people, copy. Let's have a conversation. Y'all come through to the Discord, man. Come on through. Because I need this question answered. I need this question answered. I need to have a conversation with some of you gamers. Because I need to understand, is this acceptable? Is 30 frames per second acceptable next generation in any capacity? I'm not even talking about just Xbox. I'm talking about PlayStation as well. Is 30 frames per second acceptable in any capacity? Because right now, I'm looking at the Assassin's Creed, and again, this is just one game. We don't really know what other third-party developers are planning or what other third-party developers are doing. But because Ubisoft is such a big publisher, and Assassin's Creed is such a big game, you would think that they would put some extra sauce. I hate to use that word, but I couldn't. I just used extra sauce. I mean, I'm not, you know, you would think they would put a little extra sauce in the bag. You feel me? Just a little extra sauce. Is that so wrong? We want power, 60 FPS, 4K, and Sony first-party quality. I like games at 10 frames per second, so I can actually see the details in the slow frames. We all know it's going to be 30 frames per second because most third-party devs will push graphics over FPS. 30 frames per second is acceptable if the visuals have no equal in their genre. Ultra settings, full ray tracing, etc. You know, you know what it is, but you know what it is about that, Guap? My problem with that is, you know, for the past couple months, all we've been hearing, all we've been seeing from from people on YouTube, and seeing from like these big YouTube, not big YouTube, yeah, well, yeah, these big YouTubers and like different people, is the specs of these consoles, right? And talking about like how great, spec wars is what we've been dealing with the past couple months. You feel me? And when it comes to what the delivery is going to be, I feel like 30 frames per second, you kind of shortchanging, because and it's funny because a lot of these people that were pushing these spec conversations, and they know everything about the specs and this and that, they seem really accepting of this, and these are the main ones pushing the specs and 12 teraflops and all this other stuff. They were downplaying the hell out of Mark Cerny and saying that everything he was talking about was wrong and it was a lie, and the console's not going to be that innovative and that smart and all this other bullshit. To see these same people so accepting of the 30 frames, I guess that's where my part of my gripe lies, is in people that just are so submissive to this. Like, oh, well, Assassin's Creed is gonna be 30 frames. Oh, well, that's okay. It's just one game, guys. It's not every game. And oh, now it's exclusives. Xbox don't got no exclusives. Everything is day and date on PC. So in reality, where is the how do I say? In reality, if it is up to the exclusive content, what exclusive content is that for Xbox? Dragon Sword, what's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
I kind of saw this coming. With like just next gen, like at least initially the next gen showcase, just not. It's definitely looking underwhelming, and I think as soon as like, especially like looking at like third party games that are out there like right now, say like graphically compared to the top tier PS4 exclusives, definitely doesn't compare. And especially if some of the developers that made some of the games also said they maxed out the PS4, also was a kind of a red flag right there. So it's really going to depend, because if the Xbox Series X does not sell well, and that cross-gen might even be long. People are...
Yeah, I don't think. I think I think they'll definitely cut that cross-gen support short if it's gonna compromise the games, because to have to develop for the lowest common denominator being the base OG Xbox One from 2013, that's definitely gonna put a lot of strain or a lot of bottlenecks on different things. But I feel like going into next gen, I feel like these consoles need to give the player a little bit more control over how they want to play. So what I mean by that is being able to choose, even though I have a 4K TV, I'd rather get the 60 frames per second, so I'll sacrifice the 4K and I'll accept the 60 frames and be like, okay, I'll play at 1440p 60 frames. You feel me? I feel like there needs to be, like, going into next generation, I definitely feel like there needs to be more choices for the gamer on how they play their games. Because realistically, my issue here with it, and again, we don't know everything about this whole Assassin's Creed Valhalla 30 frames per second thing. We're only going off of what the PR guy said about what the frame rate, at least he said at least 30 frames, which that's kind of weird to even like put any type of emphasis on that, because I think we all know that 30 frames per second will be there, but I think for a lot of people we're looking at, can it be 60 frames? Like, is that possible? Are we gonna move in that realm of 60 on consoles? Are we gonna, is that even something that you guys are thinking about? Like, why aren't we trying to push that type of ideology? I think is what I'm kind of looking at, because at the end of the day, it's like, hey, look, 4K is great. I've got a 4K 120 refresh rate TV. Like, I'm more than capable of doing 4K at a very high quality. But at the same time, I wouldn't want that 60 as an option. I wouldn't want the 60. I wouldn't want the option. My whole thing is, I'm looking at the options. I don't want developers going into next gen and still not giving players any options, right? Especially if we're on more than capable hardware. I think that's where my gripe lies. Can you agree, Dragon Sword? Would you want the ability to choose between having 4K 30 or having the 60 frames per second? Would you like to have that choice going into next gen?
I mean, if it's doable, then definitely. And I think we've seen that happen. I think with 4 Pro, so
So
there's definitely no excuses. But definitely not enough people are really speaking about that to really make that happen. So
well, I think the reason why a lot of people aren't speaking about it is because we really still don't know. We know the specs of these consoles fine, but we really haven't seen any games running on these consoles yet. We haven't really gotten any real world look at these consoles or at these games. Like, we're still waiting for PlayStation to show us the console, you know? And Microsoft is talking about wait till July for the first party. And it's like, and then we don't really know what these third party people are creating. So I think those variables have to be considered when we're speaking on not a lot of people speaking up. But I think for the people that are in the know when it comes to gaming, we kind of know how these third party guys maneuver. Just look at this generation. What was it rumored to be? Buck Rogers Series S. Oh, you're talking about the Series S. So yeah, it's like, when you look at that, it's like you kind of gotta, the people that are in the know kind of gotta speak up, because it's definitely I don't want to say unacceptable, but it definitely is cause for concern. I'll use that, because I don't want to use the word unacceptable, because it's such a strong word to use. It's unacceptable. I can't accept this, and then it's like, you got the third party guy like, oh, you don't like it? Well,
denied.
And it's like, well, damn, now I don't get anything. So I won't use unacceptable, because that's a very strong word. But I will use that it is a cause for concern. Because if Ubisoft is doing this and they aren't giving... And again, guys, we don't know everything. We don't know everything. But I'm only speaking on what we know so far. As we get more information about this whole Assassin's Creed thing and about any other games for next gen, we'll definitely revisit this topic and conversation. But as for right now, dealing with what we know, if Ubisoft and the developers are not going to give next gen the choice, I think my whole thing is the choice. Because some people are fine with 30 frames. Some people want 60. So it's like, I want these developers to start giving the gamer a choice. Right? Especially with PlayStation and them saying that the development process is going to be easier on developers, and it's going to be a lot faster turnaround for games and all these different things. I really want to see next gen give gamers a choice. That's really what I want. Because again, I get that I don't really know 100% how the development process is. I'm not gonna Mr. Marner said, I'm not gonna say 30 frames per second is unplayable, because if it's stable, then it's fine. Final Fantasy VII Remake is 30 frames per second. It plays great. Of course, Final Fantasy VII was a great remake, was a phenomenal game. It looked very, very beautiful. But then you also have to think, what would it look like on next gen consoles? I think what we have to understand is we can't approach this with current gen standards or current gen ideologies. Because if we approach this with a current gen ideology, then we're going to accept any old thing that they give us as long as it's a stable 30 frames. That's if we're approaching this at a current gen ideology, which we shouldn't, because this isn't current gen, this is next gen. If we're going into next gen, the expectations of these developers, the expectations of the console and the capabilities and things like that are much higher. You feel me? And that's why I'm saying that if you're not going to push for 4K 60 on everything, you need to push for the choice for the gamer to choose between higher resolution or higher frame rates. That's what I feel we need to approach this at, because again, if we approach this as current gen, it's 30 frames all over again for another 7 years. Do we really want that? Oh, now everything is native 4K, but it's still 30 frames. Is that really what we want? I don't. I want these developers to really start pushing things to a higher level, to a higher standard. And how do they do that? We have to hold them to a higher standard. So we can't get complacent, and we can't just approach this with a current gen mindset. Yo, Sick, what's good, bro?
What's good, my guy?
Chilling, man. Yo, we got Sick Hugh in the TV in the building, man. Round of applause, my boy Sick. Ooh! Whenever Sick enter the chat, you know it's gonna be some entertainment. Ooh wee, what's good, Sick, man? Talk to him.
I don't know, man. I got a freaking migraine out of this world, bro. I don't know what the last couple of days, bro. I've been having this crazy migraine.
Have you taken something for it?
Some Tylenol, but nah, I'm good though.
As long as you good.
So, what are we discussing right now? What are we hitting on? Because I got a
talking-
meeting at like 7:30, so I ain't gonna be here long.
Okay,
But-
cool. We're talking about the Assassin's Creed Valhalla 30 frames per second, and we're talking about how we can't approach this with a current gen mindset, because if
Oh
we
no,
do,
that's
then,
unacceptable.
Yeah,
That's
go ahead.
unacceptable. You know why? It has a Zen 2 in it, and you have the Zen, the original Zen, where they had the Ryzen. God damn it, what was it? It was they had the Ryzen 1600, and even the Ryzen 1600 can do 60 frames per second. I mean, of course, they gonna have to give you the performance options. But if they just stick you with 4K 30 and be like, nah, nigga, there you go, you gonna have to deal with this, then that's unacceptable. Then people need to hold them accountable, bro. They can't rest on their laurels anymore, and they definitely don't get the excuse of the Jaguar CPU no more.
Yeah.
Now you done hyped the Zen to no end. Now you got to put up or shut up.
Yeah, so I'm saying they've got more power, but still are playing within the same standards of now, and it's like, I don't understand that. 30 frames. Again, it doesn't need to be 4K to me. For me, it can be 1440p 60 frames. I'm okay with that, but it's that 60 frames thing where I'm looking at it like, I need to know if you guys are going to give us a choice. Now, if they come out and say they're going to give us a choice, then I'm fine with that. But if you're not going to give us a choice and you're just going to push that native 4K 30, can we really accept that going into next gen? Now, current gen, obviously, we got no choice. I'm talking about next gen with taking advantage of that power jump, because it is a substantial leap. This is probably the truest next gen leap that we're getting. When you're comparing it to the PS2 to the PS3, that was a big leap. So when you look at this, I feel like this is a big enough leap where it's like, I demand more. Am I wrong for that sake?
Well, I mean, it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, am I worried about next gen? Sure. But I have worries about next gen for other reasons, other things that you're not even thinking about, bruh. Things that haven't even come to your table yet. Don't worry.
Land on me, bro. You got the floor.
You'll get the you'll get the plate soon, bro.
Uh
You'll get the
oh.
plate soon.
Uh oh.
Just pay attention to PlayStation Studios, bro.
Oh yeah, I know you was
Play,
talking about that a little bit
listen,
earlier on
pay
your.
attention to that. Don't let that shit go by the wayside. Don't just look at it and be like, "Oh man, they just switching it up a little." For what? You had Sony Worldwide Studios. You had Sony Interactive Entertainment. Why would you switch it up? What reason would you have to switch it up? The only reason why I can think of that you would have to switch it up is because you need people to know where said game came from. Now, if I'm already on a PlayStation, why in the hell do I need to know where the game came from? I know exactly where it came from.
Yeah.
But if games are going elsewhere, we need to make sure the branding is appropriate.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's a bit deeper. Listen, I'm not gonna turn this live stream into that type of conversation though, because trust me, I'm still deliberating on how I feel about that shit.
I need to
Um,
see. I need to see how. I think I'll have a better understanding once I see how Horizon Zero Dawn performs on PC.
nah, you got MLB to show, bruh.
But Horizon comes out before MLB.
It does,
Yeah.
but you don't have to worry about that. You still got MLB to show. I feel like that was done specifically because of what they're doing with MLB to show. When that motherfucker come on, when it show up on their screen, it's gonna show up. No matter where it is.
Mhm.
On a Nintendo Switch, on an Xbox, it's gonna show up as PlayStation Game Studio or PlayStation Studio.
Mhm.
Yep.
No, I definitely I see what you saying with that. That might actually be why they changed it up. I thought it was just a rebranding. I'm be honest. I looked at it as
A
just a
rebranding
rebrand.
from what? We already know how big the PlayStation brand is. What would they be rebranding to? This isn't Xbox where they shit was called Microsoft Studios
Yeah.
and they had to separate it. They had to separate it. No. Niggas know what PlayStation is. Niggas know who Sony is. As a matter of fact, Sony got the big name. PlayStation got the big name it got because of Sony. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it went hand in hand. So Sony Interactive Entertainment wasn't enough. It was enough. We got to give you PlayStation Studios. But who is that for if I already got a PlayStation? If I already got a PlayStation, why are you telling me PlayStation Studios? Nigga, I know what I'm playing on.
Yeah.
Fuck you mean? But just think about it for a second. Trust me.
We need to see how that's gonna play out. I
The
mean, I'm not
more you
surprised.
think about it, the more it's gonna piss you off. Watch what I tell you.
Yeah, and I definitely try not to. I definitely try not to, cause it definitely it's still knowing that Horizon's going to PC. That still pisses me off to this day. Um,
Nah, but I mean, again, I'm whatever with it at this point. But this 30 versus 60 frames per second thing, look, give me 30 frames per second, 1440p. I don't give a shit, dog. Don't give me no fucking 4K 30, bro, on games that should be moving at 60. Like, come on, fam. No, that's not how this is gonna rock.
yeah,
Again, I guess I can give Ubisoft a little bit of leeway, and this is what I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give them a little bit of leeway because nigga, does it make sense for us to make two different versions of these games, especially when we're only selling you one?
hmm.
What's to say? Why even make a PS5 version when you're gonna have people who just play it on backwards compatible for the PS4 anyway?
Hmm.
Think about it. Just put that into your thought pattern for a second.
But if we,
Ubisoft ain't really winning with this shit. They losing no matter what. First of all, they about to lose because niggas gonna see that shit running at 30 frames per second, right? That's the first L. But then they're losing on the side of money as well. Because see, that whole smart delivery thing, Microsoft shouldn't have marketed they shouldn't have marketed it in the way that they marketed it,
oh yeah,
honestly. The reason why is because now you're putting these third party developers in a fucked up position.
yeah,
You're promising a feature that I never told you that I was going to give you. And now that I'm not giving it, now people are looking at me like, oh, why you ain't doing this, but then this other company doing it. It should have been something where they say, hey, on certain select titles, we'll have smart delivery, but they're trying to make smart delivery a buzzword. And I think that's where shit is going to go left. And again, the only people who losing on this is the developers themselves.
Yeah.
Because now they have to do all the explaining. Microsoft just gonna walk out of this bitch like they don't know, like, nigga, we ain't got nothing to do with this. Even though they're the ones rallying the dumb fuckers, right? You're gonna rally up the dumb fuckers, and now we got to do all the damage control.
But that's definitely. Oh, who that is? Yo, Paradox, what's good? Paradox Cluster, welcome, man. Hey, you there, Paradox? All right. Uh, um, nah, you're definitely right about that, Sick. But I think when it comes to Microsoft and how they are marketing smart delivery, they're marketing. I feel like they're marketing it as a definite feature that's just built into the console itself. Where it's like, oh, you buy the Series X, smart delivery for everything, and it's like, isn't that up to the discretion? Isn't that up to the especially if it's third party, up to the developer to allow that, or is it just automatically the game's gonna work on next gen because you put something special in there to enable that? Now, does the developer have to do anything special on their end to enable the game to be able to work on the Xbox Series X? Because if not, then fine. If they need to, then maybe you need to dial back how you're marketing this smart delivery, because smart delivery is just glorified cross-buy, something that PlayStation's been doing since last gen. So
keep in mind, folks, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a PS4 game. I mean, a current gen game. It is a current gen game. It's not a next gen game. So people expecting to see a next gen leap on that game, I tell you, do not do it. Do not do it. You're gonna make yourself
but didn't they
upset.
but didn't they say they were going to take advantage of next gen hardware with the game? That's why they were
Yeah,
showing
come
it
on,
on
bruh.
that's why they were showing it on the inside Xbox stage.
You know what they gonna do, bruh. They gonna get that motherfucker a goddamn resolution boost and call it a day.
That's not enough for me, man. I'll be
As a
honest.
matter of fact, it probably ain't even gonna be super native either. It's probably gonna be some dynamically scaling whatever bullshit resolution. It's
That's
just
the problem, though, bro. Like, this is like the bare. I don't want the
it
bare
is, but
minimum out
but
these.
it's not a next gen game. Look, I'm not trying to damage control for Ubisoft. As a matter of fact, I think Ubisoft made some of the fucking worst copy and paste games I've ever seen in my life, my guy. You know what I mean? Every game that you see that they make, you can see elements of other games that they make within that game. Whether it's the running animation, whether it's the freaking towers that you have to fucking climb in order to open a certain part of the map, no matter what, when it comes to like this eagle vision or, using drones, you can't tell me the difference between the drone usage in Watch Dogs 2 and then the drone usage in what's that game? Ghost Recon? That shit is pretty much the goddamn same. All I'm saying is like, I'm not here to defend them. I
Yeah.
know what their shortcomings are. I'm just saying, I really feel like Microsoft has overhyped shit, and now that things are going to be under delivered, I think we're focusing our anger at the wrong person. You can't focus your anger at Ubisoft. Ubisoft never promised you this.
Mm. Well,
And
yeah, no.
taking
Oh, yeah,
advantage
no.
of the next,
Greenberg definitely did. Greenberg was the one. He was the one that was
yeah,
saying 60 frames was the standard. So
yeah.
it's definitely, the higher ups are definitely looking at him like, keep your fucking mouth shut, bro. Like, stay the fuck off social media, because
I truly feel like somebody had I truly feel like somebody had a talk with that motherfucker after that flub that he had with Xbox inside Xbox, bro. I cannot think for 1 second that somebody higher up didn't look and say, "What the fuck?
so
What is this?"
let me ask you this question, Sick. So looking at how inside Xbox, that crashed and burned. Looking at how they're already lying or overselling the console's capabilities. Looking
Yeah,
at the bad PR with this Assassin's Creed Valhalla when it pertains that, because PlayStation's name is not on none of this. But let's get one thing straight here, guys. PlayStation name ain't on any of this shit. Now, people are saying, oh, well, if it's going to be this on Xbox, then it's going to be this on PlayStation. Slow your roll there, champ. PlayStation name not on none of this. Not saying that it's not going to be the same thing on PlayStation. What I'm saying is, in terms of the bad PR, hey, you don't see PlayStation name on none of this shit. Now,
they got
looking at looking at all of this, right? Do you still feel that PlayStation still? Are you happy that PlayStation's kind of taking their time with how they're rolling out the PS5, or do you still wish that they were more forthcoming at the pace and level that Xbox is now with how they've been trying to deliver next gen?
Well, I've never really been upset at the pace that they're dishing out information, only because I know exactly what they're doing now. Before, I had my gripes with it, but then when I looked at what was happening, I was like, okay, they trying to get all of their marketing and stuff out of the way for these games that they still have dropping. Because remember, guys, this is about games. It's about games. They still have games dropping this generation, even though they look better than next generation games. I mean, I'm just saying, do. But they still have games dropping, so they don't have to be fully focused on next gen. They're not trying to rush next gen in, and I like that they're taking their time because when we do get information, we're super excited for it. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess maybe we being starved for information, but at the same time, we're not gonna be able to play the PlayStation 5 until that motherfucker drop in the fucking holidays anyway. So what are we rushing knowing the system, knowing what the system looks like? What are we rushing that for? It's not like we're gonna get it any sooner.
I think it's anticipation.
Yeah, I mean, okay, and that's fine. I'm not telling nobody not to, be super hyped and super stoked to see what it looked like. I'm just saying, what can you do once you have that information? Once you have that information within your grasp,
Talk about
persona,
it.
what can you do?
Talk about it.
Okay, well, I mean, I get. Let's be real. That's really the only thing that niggas want this information for.
Oh yeah.
Let's do more comparisons, and the Xbox look better than PlayStation. PlayStation look better than Xbox. But what good is that gonna do for you? You still ain't got the system. You still ain't got that motherfucker in your hands.
True. I want to see the
I
games
mean,
though. I think that's
but
that's my
that's
whole
why
thing.
I
I want
ain't
to see the
tripping.
games.
No. And look, I'm not telling nobody to be hyped, not to be hyped
Yeah.
to see this stuff. I'm not telling none of y'all not to hold Sony feet to the fire, bruh. Definitely hold their feet to the fire. Demand what you want. You are a consumer. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Demand what you want. But at the same time, don't expect me to have the same level of, animosity when you don't get what you want.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I get that. I get
That's
that.
it. You can want whatever you want. I can't tell you not to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like without you, there is no PlayStation. Just like without me, there is no PlayStation. It takes consumers wanting a product in order for that product to be a viable product. So, I look at it from that standpoint. But let's be real. We all want information, right? We all want information. But I'm just saying I'm a little bit more patient. I wasn't patient before, but now as I'm starting to see things pan out, I think being patient is probably the
That's what
better
I'm saying. Those sick.
probably the better thing to do.
I was the yo. I'm in the same. I'm still 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm not going to say I'm completely patient now, but looking at the train wreck that is the inside Xbox and Microsoft right now, I am thinking the high heavens that Xbox name ain't attached. I mean that PlayStation's name is not attached to none of this shit. I'm so
But
glad.
ask yourself this, persona. You telling me nobody at fucking Xbox, nobody at Microsoft, nobody watched that video and said, Aaron, chill my nigga. This ain't that, bro. Nobody?
I don't think so. I'm be
I'm
honest.
talking about this nigga sitting in front of a meme. Bruh, he made Xbox look like a complete fucking joke.
Yeah, that
And not
fridge
in a good
thing.
way.
That fridge thing. I get what they were trying to do with that, with the whole, oh, take the joke and run with the joke so that it's not funny anymore. Like, accept it, own the joke.
Exactly.
I get what he was trying to do with that, but then I'm also like, you're kind of also admitting that your design also looks stupid. Like, it's kind of a double-edged sword there, because by you doing the fridge thing, you acknowledge that the design's stupid as hell. So
Look,
I don't know. It's
I'm
weird.
really pissed. I'm really pissed, and it's not really. I'm not pissed at Microsoft, right? I'm not really pissed at Xbox. I'm pissed at the dumb shit that they fucking do, dog.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna tell you, in this gaming space, Microsoft and Xbox is like that friend that you don't want nobody to know that you friends with, so you keep their ass at a distance.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You about to go to the mall and shit, but you don't want to bring them along. You're like, nah, bruh. You ain't finna embarrass me, dog.
You gotta stay at home.
But that's who that is. That's who Microsoft is, bruh. They're an embarrassment to game. It's crazy because the people who follow them are also an embarrassment to gaming. You know every fucking thing that they're doing that's wrong. But instead of helping everybody by letting these motherfuckers know this is not good enough, these motherfuckers be sitting up here trying to justify the stupid shit.
Yeah.
Come on, man. How is that gonna help us out, bruh? How is that gonna help the gaming? How is that gonna help them as predominantly Xbox? They over there begging for Ghost of Tsushima, nigga. Xbox niggas is begging for Ghost of Tsushima, bruh. That's embarrassing, dog.
Yo, listen.
That's embarrassing. Come on, fam. Be honest, dog.
It's funny
My
to me.
gamers, the people who champion my console, they over there begging the competition for games, bruh. Clearly, I'm not doing my job, is what I would be thinking.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
That shit crazy, bruh.
I agree.
That shit crazy, man.
I think
And
it's.
I'm like, no, go ahead,
No,
man.
God,
I'm fine.
I
I
was gonna
just,
say. Like, you was on a roll, so I'm like, yo, let me let you have a floor. I mean, I think it's one of those things where, you know, some people don't want to admit that a game is good because it's on a platform that they speak so negatively about on a daily basis, that admitting that it has great games makes what they say bad about the console look stupid. But you got people, like, I look at it like this, when it comes to what Xbox was doing up until now, they were definitely hitting some good points. They were open about the information. They were definitely, getting their fan base hype. They were selling themselves, which I could appreciate. Uh, would I buy an Xbox? No, not at all. And my reason is simple: I can buy their games elsewhere. On So why would I buy the console? Now, when it comes to PlayStation, again, I was in that mindset where I'm like, yeah, I need them to kind of speak up, because I'm comparing. Inadvertently, I was comparing them to Xbox. Like, yo, Xbox is doing this. They saying this, saying that. And then I'm like, we know that Xbox kind of has to be more forthcoming with information because they're in last place. So they kind of have to, play the field a little bit more. But at the same time, I still had hope that PlayStation would be more vocal. But looking at everything now, I'm happy that they're quiet. I want them to remain quiet until they got everything. I want nothing but next gen. Like, straight up, I really want them to, like, really. So let me ask y'all a question. And Sick, obviously answer this. And Paradox, I see you in the chat. I don't know if you hear or not. Can you hear us talking, Paradox? I added you to the right. I added you to the group so that you should be able to talk and stuff now, unless your mic doesn't work or something like that. Let me ask y'all a question though. Do y'all think that the PS5 is going to be shown tomorrow?
no.
I don't either.
No, I've made. It's funny because I feel like we think the same sometimes. I made a statement like that earlier when I did the stream, And then I thought about it. I was like, nah, that shit don't make sense. The thing is, it says a special showcase. So when I hear showcase, I think more than one. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Um,
Like when you tell me you're gonna have a showcase, I don't think it'll be a showcase for just one game. It just doesn't make sense to me.
but you can use the word showcase in a plural sense or in a singular sense. So it depends. It's an interchangeable word. So
I mean, it
it works
is,
in both ways.
but I think because and it also starts earlier. It starts at 11 a.m. instead of 12. I believe it was 12. Didn't the one today wasn't that 12?
Yeah, 12.
It was 12, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously it's going to be longer than what we saw today. I don't think it's
Ye-
just going to be one game. It just
Today
doesn't
was
make
what, 20
sense.
minutes, maybe 15 minutes. What's today?
Yeah.
We
It,
might
it
get
was like
30. We might get 30. Not. I don't think it's gonna be an hour. I definitely don't think it's gonna be an hour. It'll be 30 minutes.
I think it'll be an hour. I'm willing to say an hour. I'm willing to
You
say an
want to take
hour.
bets? Are
I'm
you a
willing to
betting
say an
man?
hour.
Sick. Are you a betting man?
I think I'm willing to say it'll be an hour, man,
An
because I
hour.
believe they
So,
starting it earlier,
so then
so I feel like they're gonna go longer.
let me ask you, if it is gonna be, if okay, let's go with your scenario. If it's gonna be a showcase of what?
That I don't know.
Is it the showcase of the PS5? Because you don't need an hour to show games, and you don't
Here's
need
the
an hour to
thing.
do interviews.
Here's the thing, right? Like, and he said he's gonna have a special guest, and I'm assuming maybe it's the teardown.
But my thing is,
You know what
why
I
would
mean?
PlayStation go to? Okay, so let me ask you
Because
this. No,
Jeff Keighley,
is
let me tell you, Jeff Keighley is the perfect person to do this. Even though to me, Tony Hawk wasn't that crazy, right? Like I ain't got nothing against Tony Hawk, but it wasn't
yeah, I was
that
trying to get into the
crazy of
chat
a show
earlier.
to
I was
me.
like, yo, sick, get in that chat, boy. I'm about to kill. Go ahead.
But think about it. Oh shit, you did tell me that?
Yeah, I wrote this. I
I
wrote this. I was
don't
like, yo, sick, get this Discord because we ain't about to take this Tony Hawk slander. Get this Discord, man.
swear for God I don't be looking at the freaking chat, bro. I'm
That's
gonna need
good.
to figure out a way to do this shit and better because sometimes I be zoning out, bro. I just be talking. I don't even be looking at the chat. I don't be looking at the screen or nothing.
Yeah.
But what I'm gonna do is from now on, I'm just gonna go into that particular chat that all of y'all can get into,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Oh,
if
just
you feel
chill
like
in it.
jumping in, just jump in. So
Okay.
I'm gonna just have it sit in that chat
Okay. Okay.
because everybody can't get into that chat, but all of the people that I specify, y'all can get into that
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you ever notice some people they sit outside of it, I gotta add Sarge because he's always welcome. So
Yeah.
I don't want him to think that he can't get in the chat. He should be able to get in the chat as well. I gotta change that on Discord, but um man,
So what's going? I really
I
want to pick your brain on this. What's going to be shown tomorrow? I need
bro,
to know
I'm gonna
what
be
you
honest
think.
with you. I'm drawing a blank. Let me tell you, I
All
tried to
right, so
put
let
the
me ask you this:
pieces together.
is it going to be a PlayStation game that's going to be shown? Because
I don't
Ghost of
know.
Tsushima is Thursday, and we already seen enough of The Last of Us, and they got something. They're going to have something special for The Last of Us, right before the game release. So it's not Last of Us, and it's not Ghost of Tsushima.
Yo, am I tripping or are they not really marketing The Last of Us? I don't think they
It, it,
can because it's a mature game.
it markets itself though. I feel
Yeah, but
like
I don't think
that sounds very
that
cocky.
they can actually. I don't think they can actually like put out commercials and stuff because it's
No, they
too.
can. They can.
You
Because they
sure?
did. Yeah, they did it for The Last of Us 1. They can. I
Yeah,
think
but The Last of
but
Us
see the
One
way
ain't
PlayStation.
nearly as brutal as this shit
Let's see,
about to be.
but they don't need to show that. They don't need to show this newest trailer. They can show the first trailer because the first trailer was
Yeah,
straight up just
everything is deaf in
regular.
that trailer, bro.
Yeah, but
Everything that we've seen has been deaf.
but you can show that on TV, so that I think that's fine. Because it's a mature rated game, so like they're gonna see the mature rating and all that. Listen, if you can show COD and people get shot the hell up listen, you can show this. I feel like
Yo,
this
it's
is
crazy. I went to pre-order Tony Hawk and what was the other game? Iron Man. Neither one of those games are in the
yeah, they're not
pre-order
in the
section.
store. I was gonna pre-order it digitally. I was going honestly. I'm double dipping like anyway because I just want the board.
I feel like they wrapping down the PlayStation 4. I don't know if you see that happening, but
Yeah, the store's been so dry these past few weeks,
yeah, I
bro.
think they're wrapping that shit down,
Cause like
dog.
I mean, side story, like I've been bored spending on on Amazon, so like I be looking at the store every Tuesday. And I'm like, yo, there's nothing to buy. Like, yo, why y'all not updating the store? Like, update the store. And they
Yeah.
are updating the store, but they ain't updating it with shit that I want to buy. So I'm like, all right, fuck it, like
So
whatever.
before I go, because I got to get up out of here, I got a freaking meeting at 7:30, bro. I
Yeah,
swear, I hate talking to stupid people, bro.
you and me both.
And it feel like, oh my god, bro.
Yo, Valhalla
Fuck,
isn't in the
dog.
store either. You're right. Valhalla's not in the store. None of the games. Scarlet Nexus, nothing's in the store.
Yo, I
And
feel
I'm
like
like,
they wrapping it down. I think what's going to happen when with the PS5, they're actually going to change the store up. You remember how they did from PS3 to PS4? I
yeah.
think they're about to do that for the PS5 because I remember this happening with the PS3 too, where a lot of the games and stuff like that just started fucking disappearing.
Hmm.
Not disappearing as in you can't get it, but it wasn't showing up for like pre-orders and shit like
Yeah, that
that.
shit just
So
wasn't in the store.
yeah, just like I don't know, bro. It's the weirdest thing.
So real quick
But
before I know you got to go, but real quick, what game do you think is going to be showing off tomorrow? Is it going to be a PlayStation game or not?
I don't know, man. For this, I don't think Sony would give Jeff Keighley the ability to show an exclusive, so I have to think that it's going to be a multiplat. What it is,
But he said
shit,
this
I
can't.
don't
He
know.
said this is going to be the most important show of all of Summer Game Fest. That's a big statement.
Listen, when he said that, that's what made me think it was going to be the reveal of like the PlayStation or like the breakdown of the PlayStation. I thought that's what it was going to be. I think it's going to be the reveal. I think somehow, some way, Sony promised Jeff Keighley that they'll give him the reveal or something like that. They got some type of thing going on, and I think they're trying to kill E3. I
Oh,
think they're
yo,
trying
if
to
this Summer Game
effectively
Fest goes good,
kill
E3's
E3,
done.
bro.
E3's done. It's
The thing
done.
is, I don't care because E3 was. I kept telling people even beforehand, like, what's the point? If you're not there, it's. I don't feel like it's a real point. But whatever, niggas
Mm,
love E3.
yeah.
They love to hear Phil Spencer get on stage and lie to him. I'm just saying. Uh, oh shit, I gotta get the fuck up out
Yo,
of here, bro.
appreciate you being here, sick.
Thank you, chat, for coming through. Thank y'all for holding my boy down. Let's get my boy Persona to that 1,000 so he can enable that motherfucking super chat.
Yes,
For real,
sir.
for
Yes,
real. If you're
sir.
not subscribed, the only thing I ask is that you subscribe. My boy be coming with the truth. Shout out to everybody else who's here that's not saying a word. I don't know who you guys are, but shout out to y'all. I'm out. Deuces.
Peace out, man.
I'll still
Appreciate
be
you being here.
listening though.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Appreciate you, sick.
Yes, sir.
Yo, Paradox, you there, bro? I don't hear Paradox. I know he's trying to talk, but I don't know why I can't hear him. I don't hear him. He on his phone. You on your phone too. You might want to make sure that with your phone that is unmuted, that Discord is unmuted, and that you can you be able to talk. But Dragon Sword, what do you think? What do you think is going to be shown tomorrow, man? Do you think it's gonna be the PS5 reveal? Do you think it's gonna be a PS5 exclusive? Do you think it's gonna be a game that Jeff really is gonna be? Jeff Keighley's hyping this up like he's really hyping this up. He's saying like we cannot miss tomorrow. That's what he said. PlayStation got a state of play Thursday, and they said in their article today there will not be any PlayStation news Thursday. This is strictly dedicated to Ghost of Tsushima gameplay, 18 minutes. So I gotta ask, Dragon Sword, in your opinion, what do you think is gonna be shown tomorrow?
It could be overhyped. Hopefully not. So I really don't know. I mean, the first Summer Fest, so I don't know what to really expect. So, and if it blows up, I mean, lived up to the hype. So I guess it could end up being PlayStation if that ends up being the case. If not, it'll probably just be some random news.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, with I don't think that it'll be a part. A part of me and a huge part of me wants it to be the PS5 reveal. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I want it to be the PS5 reveal so bad. I do. At the same time, I don't think that's what it's going to be. I think with what Jeff Keighley's saying, like, you can't miss this. This is going to be the most important thing shown at Summer Game Fest, and do not miss this. I just think that's him hyping up for the numbers. Not saying that the game is going to be monumental, but it might just be. What is a game that the community's been asking for so many years? I'm trying to think. I know a lot of people's been asking for Legend of Dragoon, so it might be that, and that's being, that's speculated to be being made by Bluepoint. So it could be that he might get to be able to reveal that game and really go in depth with that, which that's monumental in itself. Like, if we get a Legend of Dragoon remake for the PS5, built from the ground up for the PS5, yeah, that's I wouldn't want to miss that either. But see, I don't think that's something that, as much as I love Legend of Dragoon, I don't think that's something that the entire community, like everyone, everyone's got to have their eyes on this. You don't want to miss this. I don't think that's what it is. Logical Nonsense is saying Batman. I don't think it's going to be Batman. Again, Batman is great. I love Batman. The Batman games are awesome. Is that really something that you really think that's something that, you could put like, oh, don't miss this? Is that really the most important showing? Because if that's the bar, I don't know. I hope that's not the bar. Because, if that's the bar, I'm kind of sitting there like, I don't know if that's what, I don't know. I don't think that's what, I don't think that's what I want. All I know is tomorrow, if it is indeed the PS5 reveal, I'll just, if it is the PS5 reveal, definitely expect we're gonna be talking about it. If it's the PS5 reveal, I know my boy Jay Barry, he's definitely gonna do a speak from the heart. I know that for sure, and I will be on that show. I will be there. We will be talking about it. If it is the PS5 reveal, if it's not the PS5 reveal, we gotta see how it's gonna play out tomorrow. I don't wanna overhype myself, guys. I'm not gonna overhype myself. I'm not. I'm cool. I'm calm. I'm collected. I'm just gonna keep telling myself it's not gonna be the PS5 reveal. That's it. It's not the PS5 reveal. It's not. Nah. Put that in the back. They said what? June 4th is the reveal? Mid-June? That's what the rumor was. That was the speculation. So, there's no PS5 reveal tomorrow. Nah. But if it is, expect me to be all over Twitter, just hype as hell. But what else? What else I want to talk about? I think that's it. At the end of the day, guys, definitely just, I hope Xbox get their act together. That's all I'm gonna say about Xbox. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake, very exciting, very excited. That's day one. I'm definitely gonna be streaming that game. If y'all trying to get online and get whooped in these combos, trust and believe, your boy will definitely be at the warehouse practicing the combos. And once I go online, y'all not touching me. Y'all not touching my scores, man. Trust me. I'm so excited. I'm definitely gonna put a lot of time into that game. Y'all not ready for my scores, man. Y'all not ready for my scores. I'm about to get my mojo back a little bit, but once I get back 100%, y'all gonna see the scores, man. Y'all gonna see the scores. It's gonna be on point. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That was the show. I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple things. I appreciate everybody here, man. I think we had 50 people. Definitely appreciate you guys, man. Big round of applause for everybody watching. Round of applause to the ones in the chat, to the lurkers, man. Really appreciate. Future Elements, what's good, man? Appreciate you coming through. At the end of the day, guys, I say it all the time to you guys, and I'm gonna continue to say it until I'm blue in the face. Play these games, man. Like it's a lot of great games out here. There's a lot of great games coming out. In terms of next gen is definitely something that we still don't know enough about to be completely upset. But at the same time, I want next gen to be like as great as it can possibly be. And the only way that you can ensure greatness is by speaking up on the things that you feel are not great. And that's with, oh, there you go, Paradox.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Mike is like super statically, but we hear you, bro. What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. Yeah, I was listening in. I was trying to speak, but it wasn't going.
Yeah. No, it's all good, man. Go give your thoughts, man. Speak up. What you trying to say?
Yeah, PlayStation. The way I'm looking at it, they're letting Xbox dig themselves into an early grave. Now, you had mentioned earlier with Aaron Greenberg sitting there, joking around with the console and everything, and I could see it as a joke, but I think the only time you should joke like that is when you actually have something to back it up. Like you could joke around and play, professionalism aside, but if you're gonna do something like that, at least have something that you can laugh about and say, hey, we're joking, but look, we have, X number of games coming out. Here's the gameplay that we can show you, and I'm just not really impressed,
Yeah, I definitely feel you there. Like, and then to have to wait all the way till July, it's like. Really? Like, you've been having folks waiting for how long for some quality games, and you gonna make them wait this much longer? It's like, you might wanna step on that.
One thing I did want to touch on was earlier you had mentioned about the games having having a gamer have some control over whether they want 30 or 60, and I think I remember this a while back. I'm not sure if it was Corey Barlog or someone else, another developer. They basically said when games are being developed, it's really the developer needs to approach the development process differently. So, for example, doing things that you were doing in the past, cutting corners, maybe the infrastructure on how you normally would build a game. This person, they stated that there should be a different approach to development in order to, receive a different result. You know what I'm saying? So typically, like, let's say Ubisoft, for example, they develop their games a certain way. And you can see that across the board, no matter what platform you play on, they pretty much run the same. It may run a higher frame rate on PC or whatnot, but fundamentally they're designed the same way. So what developers, I'm not a programmer either. I've done programming, but what I think is best is actually approaching the process differently instead of doing things the same way, because it works. The way that you're doing it works no matter what. How about we try something different? You have a new gen, you have new technology, which is, I just finished, building my PC. These new systems are has features that I don't have yet. So, as far as the SSD. So the development process should be looked at a little bit differently. I mean, hell, what's really stopping them besides the publisher saying, hey, push this game out? But I think, there should be more care and ambition and developing and, trying to do something new. I mean, when we work a new job, right? When you go somewhere, you go to work a new job, everyone there is probably doing things a certain way, and you're the new guy. What do? You do something new. You try something new to stand out. And I think over time we've played games from these companies for so long. It's like, hey, how about you actually try something new instead of doing what's tried and true? Yeah, tried and true will get you easy money, but eventually the consumer base is going to become pissed off because you're not trying.
I think you're definitely right about that, and I think when it comes to how developing has been done, because consoles were so far behind on PCs, especially this generation, there definitely were corners cut. There definitely were sacrifices that had to be made in the development process. But when it comes to next generation, my ideology is, you're right. Like we definitely, I definitely feel like developers, and I'm not just talking first party, because first party are going to, especially PlayStation first party, PlayStation's first party exclusive games are going to take care of their fan base. Like, we know that. But I think when it comes to third party, the argument has always been you have to develop for the lowest common denominator. So development process is you start low and then build up. Fine. When you're looking at next generation, right, we're moving into a realm where the consoles, I'm not going to say the consoles are ahead of PCs, because they're not. PC is always going to have that edge. But I feel like where we will be at in the console space, the lowest common denominator, the bar, I think can be lifted now, because we're in a place where now the consoles, I feel like now the consoles the consoles are more capable, right? So now that the consoles are more capable, let's raise the lowest common denominator bar, because as powerful and as great as these consoles will be, there still has to be a lowest common denominator. When it comes to third party, I understand that they're gonna be developing, for the current gen and next gen, but
Yeah, it is like Sig mentioned, a bunch of other people mentioned, it's time to let it go. After these few cross gen games come out, you can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, after these few cross-gen games come out, it needs to be dropped. All the old systems, PS4, we had a long, PS4, Xbox One, we had a good, well, I can't really speak on the Xbox side, but on PlayStation, we had a good 6-7 years of, fantastic experiences. And it's time to let it go, because no matter what people say, when you're developing for the lowest common denominator, and this goes over, almost every industry possible, you are going to run into issues. I don't care about scalability or any of that, I work in IT, we have some of my clients, we have customers who have, servers, outdated servers, and when new technology comes out based on their business needs, those older servers are not going to be up to par with what they're trying to do for their business. Yeah. Even though servers have scalability, you can build them to have scalability. It's just that new technology, there's some things that the new tech will do that the old cannot. At a certain point, you're going to reach a threshold where it just won't work. Yeah. And so you have to let it go. I mean, what's the reason why people, the reason why people upgrade from, server 2012 R2 to server 2016? There's a reason why people they're leaving the old software behind, moving on to the next stuff. So the quicker we can drop these systems, and unfortunately on the Xbox side, they got another 2 years?
Yeah. But see, that's what I'm saying though. Like, that's part of the problem. It's like, having to deal with like dealing with that stuff for like another 2 years, that's real bad on the developers because that's the lowest common denominator.
Yep.
Yeah, you got a lot of static paradox, a lot of static.
It's probably because I'm using the speaker. If I can find my headset, then.
You gotta mute for a second, bro, because it's bad. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, his mic is. Oh. Yo, Paradox, your mic is. Woo. But but yeah, like that's definitely true though. Like in terms of how developers are approaching game, and this is why I said that us as gamers and us as consumers, we can't approach next gen with a current gen ideology. Because we approach next gen with a current gen ideology, then it's gonna be more of the same. You feel me? And more of the same is 30 frames per second. Developers really not trying to take advantage of these consoles and their capabilities. And this is why I'm saying we need to definitely be vocal about the things that we're not accepting of. If we're going to accept this with Assassin's Creed and again, to go back to what I was saying before with Assassin's Creed, giving the gamer the option. You want 60 frames? You're not gonna get 4K. That's fine. That's fine with me. If I can get to 60 frames, that's fine. 1440p 60 frames is perfectly fine. I have no issues with that. But if we're gonna be getting more of the same in next gen, is that really what we're gonna accept?
How do I sound now?
Better. Much better, bro.
I switched to a headset.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, you're right. They're always going to be looking back at, they're going to be limited and they're going to be looking back at the older systems, and you really don't need that. I mean, I understand the first few games that come out within a generation, at least within that first 6 months to a year, are going to be cross-gen games. And I mean, we all understand that, but you need to have that next-gen experience to actually get people off the fence so that they can, move over to the next gen. But if you don't have anything enticing for them to come over to, then they're not going to do it.
Well, that's where exclusives come into play.
Exactly. And I think that's why Sony is really just quiet, because they know that we have a certain expectation for them.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, we don't want to let up on them. We want to let them know, like, if there's something that I don't like or you don't like, you got to speak up and you got to say something. We should definitely expect a certain level of quality, you know?
But that's what I'm saying. So, like, whenever you see people say, that's why I hate when people say temper your expectations. Why am I tempering my expectations for $1 billion companies, man? $1 billion companies, they're vying for my dollars. You feel me? They're vying. They're putting on these shows and photoshopping Xboxes on fridges and putting on Halo helmets and all this stupid shit. They doing all this because they want our money. You feel me? So why shouldn't the expectation of the consumer, the expectation of the gamer, why shouldn't your expectations be as high as possible? It's like I said, I don't care if you're an indie studio or a AAA studio. My expectation for what you're going to put out is very high, because I expect nothing but greatness from anybody that's trying to get my dollars. You feel me? If you're trying to get my dollars, I need to see greatness. I need to be wowed. If I'm not wowed, why are you getting my dollars? That's why when people say temper your expectations and all this, I don't like that. Like, because it's like, why am I tempering my expectations? When you go into something expecting less, you get less. You see how that works?
Exactly.
I don't like that.
I would say we should have a minimum standard. So like this gen with the Pro and maybe with the 1X, I didn't have an Xbox at all. I just said, fuck it. I built a PC, but I had already had a PC, so I just upgraded that. I look at it like this: have a minimum standard where you want to go by. So like with the Pro, even though, you know, a lot of games had unlocked frame rate, so they had performance modes. Mm-hmm. I'm like, cool. Now I can play, you know, I could play Neo 1, Neo 2, 60, unlock, whatever. Maybe it was hovering between 45 and 60. Who cares? It's better than 30. At least, you know, as a console gamer, if they're trying to push it or they're giving you those options, you know, yes, let's be, you know, I'm thankful to have that option, because the alternative would be no choices at all, nothing to fall back on, nothing to change. You know, it's kind of like you're set at whatever they created, and that's it. But at least this gen, we did see a lot of games that had performance modes, or they were a flat out 60 frames. They just skipped 30 completely. That should be the minimum standard as far as I'm concerned next gen. Those performance modes, put it in there. Hell, I mean, we know if you have a computer, if you've built a computer, you know that the next gen systems can do 60 easily. Easily, even if it's at 1440p, a 2K resolution, it can be done. It can definitely be done, but I think
there's no bottlenecks, especially when you're looking at the PlayStation.
But once again, it kind of comes back to what I said earlier with design, you know, how they design their design mentality as far as designing games. Mm-hmm. You know, I guess the real statement would be, or question, when will we stop allowing them to just put out BS? You know, mm-hmm. and designing and just throwing something out there. You know, really, when it comes down to it, even if you don't say nothing, even if you're not vocal, the biggest way you can hurt them is not buying it.
Facts.
But it has to be a lot of us. It has to be a lot of us not buying it.
You know what the problem with that is, though, Paradox? You're right. A lot of these developers would get it if we vote with our dollars, but the problem is that a lot of the people within this community do not stand by their convictions, right? Again, like, let's use Last of Us for example. A lot of people are pissed off that The Last of Us has a female lead, blah, blah, blah. You know, how is she beating up on men? This is unrealistic, blah. All that bullshit, right? Oh, I'm not buying the game. This is SJW trash, blah, blah, blah. Naughty Dog is crunching. You know, they're making people work late, blah. All this bullshit, right? They'll be mad all through social media, but then we'll still turn around and buy the game.
Yes, they do. So they'll run out.
You have no conviction. You don't stand by your convictions. None of these people do. And that's why I don't take a lot of what these people say on social media serious.
It's like them cats that I know that buy, you know, sports games every year. You know, they complain about certain things, and, you know, like Madden or 2K, but then they turn around and they just go buy it. You know, I'm going to say something, and I know a lot of people are not going to like this, but it's fine. This is my opinion. This is what I believe in.
Yeah, this is a safe space, man. Speak freely. You're okay.
I think, and I know Sony and Microsoft, they can't do this because every deal that they have with a third party, even though they're manufacturers of consoles, they're all partnerships. But what I would say, I think there needs to be a mandate across the board, at least for consoles. I can't really speak for PC. There should be a mandate that, hey, your game needs to have a performance rate, you know, a frame rate of minimum for this gen of 60. I think there should be a mandate. There should be a mandate across the board, because I think in this case, if you don't force it, the developers they're gonna go and choose, you know, especially the lazy ones. We know the lazy ones like EA, you know, they're gonna go and choose the bare minimum. And I think there should be, you know, a mandate, call it a mandate, call it a standard. There should be a standard saying, hey, if you want the system, every game coming out now, this should be the standard right here, because our system, we've given you the tools to support this. We know it can do this. So here is the standard. I think that should be a mandate. I know it's not going to happen, But I think it should be a mandate from the console manufacturers, because the third party, you can't sell no games. I mean, yeah, you can sell the PC, but you can't sell on the console market if there's no consoles.
Yeah, but see, the
You
thing
know?
about that is, the issue with that is both sides stand to lose a lot of money, and that's why that's why there has to be some type of compromise.
Right.
I
That's why it's a partnership.
Yeah, that's
That's
why
why.
it's a partnership. So it's great in a perfect world. I would love the mandate to be 60, but you also, it's a double-edged sword, because we always speak about giving developers creative freedom, right? So it's hypocritical to bash a developer for not creating a game at 60 frames, right? Which is
True, but
why. Oh, go ahead.
true, but I would say make this more of a technical requirement and not necessarily a design choice.
True, but
Because look right.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Because I was gonna say, look at how, like, when certain games come out, like I'll just use the PC for example. You have a minimum and you have a maximum spec, or excuse me, a minimum and a recommended spec, right?
Yeah.
How about, if there was a standard saying, hey, our minimum spec is 60. We don't care what you do to get there. Make the minimum spec 60, and then let the developers design around that technical requirement and just go nuts from there. But I know they can't make them do anything because they don't own them. There's legal ramifications. It's a partnership. I understand all of that. So I know why they can't do that. It's just that some standards, especially in IT, is what helps, the industry move forward, and also to prevent you from making mistakes and doing things that you shouldn't be doing, or screwing up someone's equipment. That's why we have those standards.
Mm-hmm. Which is why, again, that's why I look at it as like a double-edged sword, because I would love for the standard to be 60, but putting that type of mandate on developers takes away. I feel like it takes away from their creative freedom, which is something that we always push for developers to have, right? Which is why earlier I was saying give gamers the choice, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a good comment.
I don't want to mandate you to give me 60, right? If it's going to compromise the 4K that you feel is the design choice that you want to go for. What I'm asking for is give me the choice to choose between the recommended of how you feel the game should be played and how I feel the game should be experienced. You feel me? 4K 30, again, if it's native 4K 30, whatever. But I feel like when you're looking at next generation, and again, this is not just on the gamer consumer side, this is also on the developer and company side. When you're going into next gen, you can't approach next gen with current gen ideologies. It's not going to work. It's not,
right,
because you end up looking at it like, why did I upgrade if this is still the level of quality that I'm getting? You feel me? At the beginning of the gen, a lot of people were complaining that things weren't feeling very next gen. PlayStation stepped in. We got Order 1886, Bloodborne, Horizon Zero Dawn. Things really started to take off. With the third party, we seen that with some games, but we didn't see that with everything.
Right.
And again, this is why I'm saying everyone, all of us, gamer all the way up to game developer, all the way up to game exec, everyone has to view next gen with a new. They have to approach next gen with a new ideology. We cannot accept lower expectations because this is what they're used to getting from this type of company. No, we have to up our expectations and demand that these companies provide the quality and the experiences that we know that they can provide, because PlayStation's been doing it all gen, so we know it can be done, right? It's them not moving in the way that they should to get it done. Next gen, we can't have that, because again, if we have that next gen, what's the point? Like, seriously, what is the point? Look at Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. PlayStation has continually outdone itself every exclusive that has come out with since 2014. Literally, every game has gotten better and better and better, and I'm talking visual wise.
Skill and expertise.
Yes.
One thing that bothers me, and maybe this is part of my work ethic, is you see your competitors, each and every one of these third parties, they're even competing with first party as well. So the thing that bothers me, you see your competitor doing, they're getting these type of graphics or they're achieving this certain frame rate. And yes, you have your own vision, but I wonder, does it bother the development team on, when they look at these other games? Like, to me, if I'm working on something, I want it to be the best of the best of my ability. And if I happen to see somebody doing something similar to what I'm doing, I'm going to do my best, not necessarily to one-up them, but I'm going to do my best to try to achieve or soar beyond what they're doing. Maybe that's just me, but I don't feel like that happens a lot with game development. I don't see anyone outside of a few companies, right? I don't see everyone striving to outdo each other because they may feel that they don't compete against one another, but they do, because at the end of the day, we buy the games. So if I pick, Persona 5 Royal over Battlefield, right? That's a sale that you just lost. That's a sale that you could have had, microtransactions, season pass, all that BS. You've lost out on all that money. But what about you pushing and trying to be competitive? This is one thing I respect about Sony Studios, PlayStation Studios. They compete with one another. Oh, you did that? Oh, actually, with the Order 1886. Remedy put out a beautiful game. And you know what Neil Druckmann said, or I think it was Corey Barlog, they said, man, that looks good. Wait till you see what we got. Yeah. I think we need to see more of that, not just in-house, but we need to see that across the board.
Yeah.
Give it your best. I don't feel like a lot of these companies are doing the best that they can do to the best of their ability. Now, I'm not saying all of them have to be Naughty Dogs. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, I know you could do more. You're just so...
Everyone doesn't need to be Naughty Dog, and I think that's the misconception that I think a lot of people, because when you do compare PlayStation developers to like third party or whatever, people say, oh, they're exclusive, blah blah blah. That's what my whole thing is. When you look at PlayStation's work ethic, when you look at the studios that they have and the games that they're putting out, like no one can sit here and deny that they're not putting out nothing short of greatness. Bro, look at Last of Us 2. Like guys, look at Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2 is art. Let's go back to Spider-Man. Look at Spider-Man. Amazing. Beautiful game. Then you get Death Stranding that, granted the gameplay's a little off to me, but the world looks beautiful. Right? Then we got Last of Us 2, right? And it's like, man, let me show y'all.
Yep. And speaking of Death Stranding, Kojima, that man has a passion for gaming. And you can really see it, The engine, every engine that he's worked on, he likes that fast frame rate. I think Death Stranding is 60 frames. He likes that fluidity with the animations and everything like that. And this man takes his time, but he's always trying to surpass, what the previous project that he did. No matter where it was, what he worked on, he's always looking to take it a step further. And I don't think that's that much to ask for these, a lot of these companies out here. I don't think that's much to ask. Yes, you did a project before. We saw it, we played it. You know, I'll use Assassin's Creed Odyssey, right? You saw it, you played it. You know, hopefully you played it.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
take what you learn from that and build on it, and then your next game do better. So if a lot of complaints were, with Valhalla, they fixed certain things, but then again, certain things are more like the samey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So take what you've learned and do more, do better. How hard is that to ask? Or rather, from a professional and personal level, don't you have enough pride and ambition to do that without somebody telling you to do that?
But you know what it is too, man. I don't see. I think with a lot with, and I don't want to. I'm not. This isn't a shit on developer fest. Like, I'm not trying to shit on developers because I understand that developing is a very hard job and a very daunting experience. And you guys do put a lot of work into it. This is not what that is. So any developers that are watching or may watch this later, that's not what this is. But and again, I'm going to use Last of Us 2 because it's the perfect example, and I'm going to use Ghost of Tsushima in a second as well. You see the passion. I don't know. The passion just flows through the game. You can see it. Like you see it in the characters. You see it in the acting. You see it in the presentation. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That passion, I don't think is there with a lot of with some of these games that are coming out. And this is why I'm saying we can't approach next gen with current gen ideologies. Because
Exactly.
it's just not. It's not gonna work. It's really not gonna work.
We should be expecting, at least we should be expecting an overhaul in animations, an overhaul in graphics. Maybe we may have reached a point of diminishing returns. I don't know yet, right? Maybe we are getting to that point. Okay, but there's other things that we can focus on, like number one, AI. Why is the AI so stupid in a lot of games? You sit there and you shoot, a shooting game, right? They sit there and they let you shoot them.
Yeah.
That wouldn't really happen in real life. Somebody trying to get out the way because you're shooting at them, right? So advancements in AI technology, how they react, who's going to build a system that simulates real life experiences, fight or flight response in AI or something like that, right? I know it has been done to a certain degree with technology and maybe things are limited, but how are we going to take gaming forward? Are we going to push more into that? So when I play a game, I don't feel like I'm just shooting stupid people,
Yeah.
Like there's other advancements that could be put forth into making things better, a better overall experience for the consumer, for the gamer. One thing is engine. I know, creating an engine takes time, it takes money, it takes talent, but this is what you should be doing. If your company that you work for, or, this is specifically towards the publishers, right? As a publisher, you've made, maybe you've made 80 million or 80, a billion in microtransactions, loot boxes or whatever. When are you going to take that money and develop a new engine that's rock solid? So when you put out a game, when your developers put out a game and they're able to optimize and test for it, that it doesn't have issues where we're falling through rocks and save files are not working. These are the problems that need to be addressed in gaming. I think in gaming as a whole, where are we going from here now? Because we can't just stay stagnant. Because as you mentioned, Persona,
Mm-hmm.
what's the point of moving on?
Mm-hmm.
When you move on from something old, an old TV to a new one, you expect the new TV to do things that the old one can't do.
That's a fact, though.
That's an expectation.
Yeah.
If I move from a 4K TV to a 8K TV, there's an expectation. There's a minimum expectation that I gotta have when I'm moving. You know, that's versus, you know, paying $400 for a TV versus $3,200 for a TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to show something real quick. Guys, I want to show you guys something, right? Just to show the passion. Yo, I'm about to show you Infamous Second Son from E3 6 years ago. 6 years ago, guys. Listen, man. Like, you see the passion back then, man. I'm telling you, like, PlayStation developers are just another. It's another pedigree, man. It's a whole upper echelon. You even see the beauty and the passion in Infamous Second Son. Look, yo, look at this game, man. Look at this game, man. Trying to tell me
You
over
think this
again.
is a joke?
No, I
Is
don't.
this how you want to leave your mark on the world, huh?
Look at the acting, man. Look at the world.
Now look, for all we know, we may be able to pass you through their security because you're not a normal bioterrorist. Seem to be getting the hang of your new symptoms, right?
Yo, man,
Oh,
this
it's
game.
the
I
only
love
downside
Infamous Second
being
Son. This game is so
that,
great. I got the collector's edition
Can't
with
think
the
of
hat and
things. It's pretty
everything.
freaking awesome.
I still got it. Look at that. Yo, and this game is beautiful. To this day. To this day. This game is beautiful as hell.
All right, I got this whole thing figured out. We hit the town, maybe swing by the space
Troy
needle,
Baker.
see it, and then we're back home to
Shout out
show
to my
some
boy
lights.
Troy Baker.
You do realize when we hit the town, there's a fair chance the town's gonna, you know, head back.
I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all. Listen, maybe it's because I'm expecting too much from these type of developers. I feel PlayStation has spoiled me to the point where I'm looking at everybody else and I'm like, what are you doing? Straight up. I'm looking at them like, what are you doing for real, man?
I think it's legitimate. I mean, I've you know, man, I've been gaming a long time,
For real.
and you know, as each generation passes, you definitely have to expect something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
You have to.
Remember when they showed Horizon Zero Dawn? That was the game they showed off for when they were showing off the PlayStation 4 Pro. Remember they showed that game off as well and was showing that off? Bro. that was gen defining right there. From 2013 to then was like a leap. And that was just a mid-gen refresh, bro. I'm like, bro, what is going on?
You know what? You know what really put me on to the Pro? So out here, you know, I'm in Illinois, right? Out here, we got a PlayStation rep that goes to like the Best Buys and they do demonstrations. He did a demonstration for the PS4 Pro. Then he did a demonstration, you know, a couple of months later for the PSVR. Let me tell you, they gave him a Pro. So, you know, PlayStation, they gave it to him, so it was his.
1 second. Yo, y'all see that, bro? Y'all see the lighting? Come on, guys. Y'all see the beauty? I'm showing the trailer. That's why my fault. Okay, keep talking.
Nah, you good. So, you know, one of the games, they had a Sony A1 series TV, like HDR, 10, all that, all the bells and whistles are, you know, full array and all that good shit, right? So he had Call of Duty Infinite Warfare running, but it had the HDR and everything like that enabled, right? And this was the first time I saw a game with HDR enabled, especially on that size of TV and everything with the sound system, all that. I wanted a Pro right then and there, and I was like, you know what? If a third party can make good lighting effects like this, a good color gamut, everything, right? I immediately thought to myself, what is PlayStation going to do with this? And then right after that, you know, they started talking about all these other exclusives that would have like HDR.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, this shit is crazy. And then when they came out, you know, then when the guy came out and did a demonstration for PSVR, I was like, you know what? this is the company that you should put some money behind, because at least you can see the things that they're trying to do. They're trying to move things forward instead of giving you the same, garbage. Not saying everything is garbage, but giving you the same experiences. They're at least attempting to give you something different. So why wouldn't you support that? You know what I'm saying? Be vocal. Don't just take anything. But if you see X company doing things that Y company isn't doing, it's kind of a no-brainer. You know, you need to somehow force the other company to get on par and to do things that they should be doing.
Yeah. Yo, this game is amazing. I love Horizon Zero Dawn so much. This game was so great. So great.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful game. I that fucking T-Rex, man, I kept having problems with that. With that damn thing.
I used the grapple thing that pulls him down to the ground. I used that. I was using the hell out that thing when I fight the Thunder Jaws. Man.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing no games.
Remember that part where you had to fight two of them?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Within the same space.
In the pit.
That's the part that kept getting me, because I would try to like separate them, and then the other one, fucking catch wind of what I'm doing. I'm like, God damn it! So now I got two of them after me. Yeah. But yeah, it was a beautiful game. Platinum it. Just overall great experience. Like when you play a good game and you just sit back and you like, wow, that shit was great. That's how I felt. I felt about that game. And I felt the same way about Persona 5 Royal and Final Fantasy 7.
Oh yeah, yo, Final Fantasy 7 was magical.
Fire.
Man. Yeah.
Fire.
I love that game. Like from beginning to end, that game was just so great. I love that game. And even combat was so addicting. So addicting.
And even though I was getting my ass whooped in hard mode,
what boss you struggle with in hard mode?
Believe this or not. So two of them actually. One was on the way to Pride and Joy.
Okay.
Which was Bahamut.
Oh.
That motherfucker kept killing me, and he wasn't it was just crazy. But I figured out a good way to beat him, so I was like, okay, cool.
Because he brought out Ifrit, so it's like Ifrit beat the shit out of you. He was beating.
Nah, I actually used Bahamut against him.
Yeah, I used Bahamut against him too. For me, Bahamut and Ifrit fight wasn't that hard to me. Neither was the Malboro fight. Pride and Joy wasn't that hard to me. I still got fucked up a little bit, but it wasn't hard. For me, that Sephiroth fight was really hard.
Pride and Joy, he had a quarter health left, and for some reason I couldn't get away from. Yeah, he grabbed me. I couldn't get away from him. And I'm like, and I had the only person that was living at the time was Aerith. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Oh, nah, Aerith. Listen, yo, you gotta pop that water, that mana ward down on her, and you gotta pop that fire. That'd be that electricity on her. And do that Thundara and do it twice for free. That's what I was doing.
But you know how you don't really regenerate MP or anything like that. So I was kind of running low with her. But I fucked them up the second time. But yeah, Sephiroth at the end on hard mode, that motherfucker, I was like, man, fuck this dude. And I'm not gonna lie, I had to look up something to deal with him. And counter stance, I'm like, because I never really used counter stance.
Counter stance, I was using counter stance all through hard mode, bro. Counter stance, and then if you go into Punisher mode and block, you also get a counter off that as well, a parry off that as well.
Right. So, I think most of my problems was coming into a lot of the battles with less MP than I needed. But once I upgraded my MP and my HP and all that, I think I was good to go.
I made sure I did that before I started hard mode. I had maxed out 6 or 7 different HP and MP ups. I didn't have maxed out and all that stuff.
I didn't have a lot of that shit maxed up until I got towards the end to Sephiroth. And because I managed to beat majority of it, but Rufus, that motherfucker, whew. And I'm like,
Oh,
this
you had a
bitch,
problem with Rufus?
I did because number one, I didn't use counter stance. And then number two, I didn't know how.
Using the
I didn't know how to.
The goober thing though?
I didn't know how to.
The trinket that gives you instant limit break.
You don't get that until you beat Joy.
Pride and Joy. Oh, you didn't beat. So you went straight to Rufus before you beat Pride and Joy.
Right.
Oh no,
right.
no.
So I didn't. But I ended up beating him. I didn't know that you could. Hopefully nobody spoiled by this. But I didn't know that you could do braver on him. Once you separate him from the dog and it's just you and him. I didn't know that braver stuns. It puts him in immediate stagger.
Yeah.
I didn't know that shit. So I beat him on normal. and didn't do any of that. But then on hard, you got to really switch it up. Like I had chakra and everything. And once I figured out that you could fucking counter the dog and all that shit and fucking instantly stagger him, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
It was a wrap.
But yo, man, it's getting late. So, Paradox, I definitely appreciate you coming through, bro. Do you got a channel? A channel or a social media or anything?
Yeah, I do. It's the same name, Paradox Cluster. I don't really do a lot of like videos of me just talking. I just do gameplay videos. So you'll see a lot of gameplay, Final Fantasy, Persona 5 Royal, just Final Fantasy 15, a lot of just straight games, Okay. I don't really do a lot of talking, just I do like coming on these podcasts and just, speaking of knowledge and then just hearing what people have to say and what their thoughts and opinions are. But if you do, tune in, you look at my channel or whatever, you'll see just it's a lot of gameplay.
Yeah. I just put a channel in the chat, man. Make sure you guys check out Paradox Cluster. I definitely appreciate you coming through, Paradox, for real.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate
I wish I could have fixed my mic problem earlier. Then I would have been, definitely shooting the shit with everyone.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. Listen, you're definitely welcome back for sure, man. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot more news to talk about these coming weeks, so you're definitely welcome back, bro.
I'm ready. Yeah, PS5 day zero.
Oh yeah, you already know, man.
I just bought a damn graphics card, and I'm thinking now, I'm like, damn, what if Sony fucking announced the PS5 tomorrow for pre-order?
Two or three is getting pre-ordered off rip, but if they do that, man, let me not. I'm overhyping myself. Let me stop. But big shout out to you, Paradox, man. I really appreciate you coming through, bro. Honestly, like I said, guys, that's his channel in the chat. Make sure you guys check out Paradox Cluster. He got a lot of gameplay videos on there, a lot of Final Fantasy stuff. So shout out to him. Also, big shout out to Sick Humor TV, man. I appreciate him coming through, man. It's always good to chop it up with Sick. Make sure you guys check out Sick Humor TV, his channel as well. He do streaming a lot too. I'm sure he's gonna be doing the live reactions tomorrow. I'm gonna be working, so I'll definitely be tuned in. I might slide through to the Discord. If it's something good, then I'll definitely slide through. Shout out to my boy Jay Bari. Make sure you guys check him out as well. Link to his channel is in the description. Speak from the heart. All the good stuff, man. Jay Bari, the best lifts on YouTube. Make sure you guys check him out. Everybody in the chat, man. AI, Buck, Sam, Elysium Core. Who else came through? OBJ the Don. Appreciate you so much for coming through. Buck Rogers, Jamar. Who else came through? Cyberborg, Cyber Dragon, Dragon Sword, Red Infamy. Shout out to Red Infamy. Make sure you guys check her out as well, man. Master Geetress, Game Tight. What is it? Red? I think it's Geek Game Tight. Yeah, Geek Game Tight. I think that's what she called it. Make sure you guys check her out as well. Let's say shout out to Jay Bari. Shout out to Harry Tran. Appreciate you. Kieran Williams, Levon, Vedger. A lot of y'all in the chat, man. I really appreciate all you guys coming through, man. To the lurkers, man. Definitely appreciate you guys as well. Really appreciate you guys. Give a round of applause to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys so much. Like I said, if it's something good tomorrow, I will be back. If it ain't all that good, you'll see me on somebody else's podcast. You'll see me on somebody else's podcast. If Barry do a Speak from the Heart or Sick do a podcast, I'll be there. Other than that, if it ain't good enough for me to do a show, I'm not doing it. Straight up, I'm just not. I will be back Thursday though for the Ghost of Tsushima gameplay breakdown. We'll definitely be talking about that. So if you don't see me Wednesday, you will see me Thursday. Appreciate everybody here. Be safe. I hope you guys are being safe during quarantine. I hope you're washing your hands, washing your body, brushing your teeth. I hope you guys are keeping yourself clean. Please make sure you guys keep yourself clean. Make sure you guys are out here playing these games. And yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all. And see you guys next time. Peace.